All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to take a guided tour of, well, one of the most talked about tools on the planet, right? ChatGPT. We're going to break down what it is, what it can actually do, and who it's for, all based on how the tool presents itself.
Okay, so when you first open it up, this is what you see. It all kicks off with this really simple but, incredibly powerful question. What can I help with? And that's exactly what we're going to spend the next few minutes unpacking. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle the big picture. Is it an AI for everything? Then we'll dig into its core features, figure out who it's built for, see how it plugs into your world, and wrap up with how you can get your hands on it. All right, first up, that big question. Is this an AI for everything? Let's zoom out and look at the landscape here to really get a handle on the ambition behind it.
And this quote really says it all. The goal here isn't just to be a chatbot you ask random questions. No, the ambition is much, much bigger. We're talking about a versatile assistant, something that's meant to weave itself into pretty much every part of your life and your work.
Okay, so versatile assistant sounds cool, but what does that actually mean? What can it do? Well, that brings us right to its core toolbox. Let's look at the fundamental features that make the whole thing tick. You can really break down its capabilities into about 5 key buckets. You've got your basic conversation stuff, voice, video chats, group chats, the things you'd expect. But then it gets way more advanced. You see these names here, like Agent, Codex, Atlas. These point to specialized models. Codex, for instance, is all about understanding and writing computer code. Atlas is geared towards heavy-duty research and pulling complex data together. Then you have the creative side, image generation, deep research, even shopping help. Plus, there are these focused modes, like a study mode just for students, and you can get to all of this through a desktop app. Now, this is super important. How you chat with the tool really matters, especially when we start talking about privacy. There are basically 2 modes. You've got your standard chat, which gets saved and, yes, is used to help train the models. But then there's this other option, temporary chat. And as you can see, it's a whole different ballgame. It's not saved to your history, and crucially, it's not used for training. For anyone concerned about privacy, this is a pretty big deal. Okay, so we've seen a bit of what it can do. But the next logical question is, who is this for? Like, who is the intended user? So let's shift gears from the what to the who. And right off the bat, you'll see the audience is, well, it's huge. There's a massive focus on education, starting with tools specifically for students. And, of course, you can't have students without educators. This is for everyone from K-12 teachers all the way up to university professors. But it doesn't stop at the classroom. It pushes right into the professional world for people like scientists who are doing that deep, complex research. And then it comes all the way back to our daily lives. There are even use cases specifically designed for parents at home. This chart really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? You can see just how broad the target audience is. Education and business are these 2 massive chunks, for sure. But look, there's a big slice for personal and home use too. And something I found really interesting, there's even specialized support for groups like veterans. But here's where things get really interesting. The power of this tool isn't just what's inside the box. Next up, we're going to see how it goes way beyond just chatting by plugging directly into your digital world. This is where it goes from being a cool toy to a serious workflow booster. Think of it in 3 steps. First, you can create with the apps you probably already use every day. We're talking Canva, Spotify, tools like that. Second, you can literally chat with your documents. Got a PDF or a presentation? You can just ask it questions. And third, you can analyze your data, not by writing formulas, but just by having a conversation with a spreadsheet. Pretty wild. So if you group all these different use cases together, they fall into roughly 3 camps. You've got the creative stuff, making images, building playlists. Then you have pure productivity, talking to your PDFs, analyzing spreadsheets. And then there's this whole bucket for inspiration, finding a new recipe or getting help with a school paper. It really does cover the whole spectrum, from serious work to just having fun. All right, so we've covered the what, the who, and the how. The last piece of the puzzle on our tour is the most practical question of all. How do you actually get access to this stuff?
Basically, access is broken down into different tiers depending on who you are. For personal use, you've got your free, plus, and pro options. If you're a company, there are business and enterprise plans. And what's really key is that they've also carved out specific plans just for the education world, one for higher ed and another for K-12 teachers.
So let's wrap this tour up. What's the big takeaway? Well, ChatGPT isn't positioning itself as just another chatbot. It's a full-on, versatile toolkit. It's built for basically everyone, from students to business pros. It's designed to plug right into the documents and apps you already use. And finally, it has different plans so you can find one that fits what you need. And that brings our tour to a close. It really leaves us with one final, pretty big question to think about. When a tool this powerful becomes this easy to get your hands on, it really makes you wonder, what's the first problem you're going to solve with it?